What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Talk NFT podcast. I'm super excited to have on the guest today, David Zhao, co-founder of Chubby Cattle. He's alumni of Forbes 30 Under 40. I could go on for a long time. I know I've been trying to get a hold of him to get on podcast and super excited to have him here today. So before we kick things off, I have a lot of questions about Chubby Cattle NFT. Why don't you tell the audience, which are all NFT enthusiasts, just a little bit of background about yourself, how you got into the restaurant industry, the restaurant group, a wildly successful one that's expanded across America, and how you got involved into Web3.
Sure, Joe. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. And to talk about the NFT space, my background, we have to start with the fact that we started the technology. Well, we started with food and beverage and technology all the way back in 2014 when we thought about hot pot, and that's a 2,000-year-old tradition from China, Mongolia, and we wanted to bring technology into this tradition as well. So we created the first refrigerated conveyor belt, and that's our first location in Las Vegas called Chubby Cattle, and that's how it started in the name of Chubby Cattle NFT and Chubby Cattle Hospitality Group, where now we have 10 locations that are open across the U.S. Various different concepts from all-you-can-eat Wagyu barbecue experience, which is the one we're opening this week for Wagyu barbecue. We also have X-Pot, which is the elevated fine dining hot pot experience inside the Palazzo. We have Wagyu House, which is a traditional hot pot experience with premium ingredients from seafood to Wagyu. We have our own cattle ranch in California and Oregon for domestic Wagyu as well. So we're an all-inclusive restaurant group with our own cattle ranch farm that brings in the tradition from Asia, from yakiniku, hot pot, and barbecue to the U.S. and mixing it with the best what's offered in the U.S. from our own domestic Wagyu ranch. And on top of all of that, we have a lot of different technology pieces inside of our restaurants. We have started like with the refrigerator conveyor belt to having projection mapping inside our restaurants to having robotic servers. And those things have always helped with the dining experience of our customers and also help with the restaurant operation. And the newest in 2023, we launched the Chubby Cattle NFT to take the Web3 component of our technology that we had in 2020, 2023, the NFT space, and to mix that with our membership program that will be beneficial for all of our members, the NFT member holders across all locations and future locations as well. So this is a way to utilize technology, to utilize NFT space and bring real utility that you can have today at any of our locations. And these the benefits include for NFT holders, discounts at all various different types of discounts. And we can go through that from a percentage off to free drinks for all your guests to a free dish or have a specific dollar off if you're going all you can eat places to 2 complimentary tasting menus a year that's offered to the gold members and private access to events, just like the event we're hosting today at Chubby Cattle Monterey Park, where the NFT holder gets a complimentary tasting and free entry and private access to our launch parties and stuff like that. So we've seen the NFT space come up with PFPs. And for me, it was always, I never understood I love the community aspect of the NFT. I think that's a huge plus for people to be able to bring together. I didn't see a lot of utility there's a lot of roadmap, which is great, right. But there was not a lot of past record or track record from these NFT projects. Whereas for us, we have a $100 million restaurant group valued at that's the restaurant business in the restaurant business for 10 years. And now we're having this NFT project that's added on to our venture. And we've started to see that as well with Starbucks and other restaurant groups that might come on to start to have a version of it. But we're definitely one of the first to actually have real utility for someone to buy it today and experience it right before their meal. Like they can buy the NFT right before their experience at our restaurant. And the NFT services component. So that's a little bit introduction.
Nice. No, that's very detailed. Before we hop into all the NFT intricacies, how did you get inspired to implement technology into the restaurant group. I know you have a background in digital marketing. Is that something that was always part of you, or is that something that you just saw a lot of cool technology that you want to implement? And full disclosure, I have no ties with Chubby Cattle, but during my bachelor party, I went to Chubby Cattle. I spent well over $500 just between me and one friend, and it was an experience. It was interactive, something like I've never experienced before. And something that I found that later on I didn't notice. You guys have a 5D immersion room in the same Las Vegas a location, so that's very intriguing. And I just thought that where did you get that inspiration from?
Yeah, I guess twofold. One is the most important thing is the customer experience. That's always the foundation of any successful restaurant group, is the customer experience. So for us, it's important to create a customer experience that goes beyond your expectation. So technology comes to play when we're able to bring, for example, the robotic server. It's not there just the whole point of robotic server, so that the staff, the server, is able to actually give you a better experience. By having a robotic server assistant, they're able to bring the food to the server, so the server can stay in the section and make sure that everyone is enjoying their time and having a better experience. And same with the 5D projection dining room. It's to really bring a story to your dish, and every dish has a film that we've custom made for that dish. So whether you're having the vegetable course, the seafood course, you'll be in an aquarium, things like that. It's to elevate your dining experience. For the refrigerated conveyor belt, we want to bring the freshest ingredients through the refrigerated conveyor belt to you. So it's for the ease of the customer. So all of this is always for the benefit of the customer's experience. And the second part is, of course, if it can, we would love to streamline the operation as well. So that's where the conveyor belt came in. That's where the robotic servers come in. Also, the same with the NFT. I think it's a win for the customer and a win for the restaurant operation. So this is why any technology that we have is beneficial, that we implement is beneficial for both the operators and the customers.
Absolutely, makes sense. Yeah, the robotic servers I've experienced definitely it's interesting, but it does speed up service. Definitely, I experienced that a couple of times, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but it was faster than a typical wait service. So cool. So how did you get inspired Web3? Like, what was your first? Who told you about it? How did the thought of NFTs come to mind to implement with Chubby Cattle? Was it just like a natural progression? Like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So when I started looking into NFTs in general, right, with BAYC, with all this, and I was like, well, this is, it's crazy that there's this new technology out there that's tradable, but I haven't seen much. There's a lot of community building. There's a lot of PFP. Artwork, which is cool, but there's not a real utility for a lot of these things, and they have roadmap for the community, but there's no revenue driver behind the project at its core. So what I failed to see actually in non-NFT as a traditional traditional restaurateur or traditional business operators, like, how does this create value? I understand that people buy into the hype, and also I've seen in 2020 too that people bought in to trade up, right? It says an investment vehicle in a way, and they're trying to flip NFT, and that was the whole space. And I foresee the downfall of like what will happen down the line once the hype is out. But I think the technology is beautiful, and I just like the web, just like the .com bubble, that the foundation is beautiful for this product, but there's just too much hype during 2000s. So for this, I think it's the same thing. NFT does come with real utility and can have awesome functionality and feature into gaming, music, and retail, hospitality. And we are just creating membership programs. And I think this is where we've thought, hey, great technology. It will be amazing for our customers to actually own a product by our restaurant group. And that's for lifetime benefit, because we already have memberships, local memberships at all of our restaurants. I'm like, but they can never trade it, right? This is not something that they can buy and trade and own a piece of a different type of product offering from our restaurant group. So this is where we said it would be very cool to experiment and set up the frontier of what an NFT could be, more than just a picture or an artwork alone, but really something that that's tradable, a membership that's tradable, that's owned by you. And that's how we started building out. That's the beginning of the idea of building out the Chubby Cattle NFT. Then we worked with developers for over a year on this project to create a platform where you can actually have your wallet, and we can also have the Web 2 functions, like bridging the Web 2 and Web 3, because we need to verify you, verify that you own the picture, the QR code. And now we're building out a dashboard so that you can see your lifetime savings. You can see all your activity of our restaurant groups. So these are all things that we're building now. And yeah, that's how we got started. And I think it's going to be a huge play in the restaurant space when customers become part of your ecosystem, and more than just on the bottom as revenue drivers, but actually as part of your restaurant operations ecosystem, to be able to give you feedback and to have this community of buyers that are super passionate about your brand. So that's why we are definitely in the beginning stages of the full experiment, a beta test. It's very different. I think we're run very differently than a lot of the NFT project that's built on hype to mint and maybe have very low follow up after. But for us, is like, we didn't spend as much. We spent very little marketing dollars to advertise this NFT project, but just like how we build restaurants, it's all about beta testing the product and slowly build it out and release more, release this program to the general public as we build out more locations in the States as well.
Definitely. This is definitely, like you mentioned, the technology is a marathon, it's not a sprint. I, for one, did start off in the actually sports collectible realm of the NFT world. Got head deep into PFPs, and then, like yourself, I truly love the true utility and benefits of NFTs that's backed by an actual business. I actually have quite a few food industry NFTs myself. I got a couple of Fly Fish Clubs, which is one of the first NFT restaurants, but they haven't even opened yet. They just they actually got the leasing for the building more recently. Food Fighters in Los Angeles, the Bored Ape restaurant, and some wine ones. So, but none which has been as bold as you guys. So I have to ask, because you guys have a utility that once I saw that, I actually couldn't believe it, because I've been covering and buying NFTs for years now, and I bought hundreds. Probably every NFT you think out there, I probably bought it. It's pretty crazy. But none that's offered lifetime utility like yours. Like, where is this coming from? There's got to be a long-term vision for this, right? And I always thought that every company should offer these types of benefits. But how did you, is it you that just made the decision? I know you have a board, a co-founder. Did they just all jump on board with you?
Yeah, I spoke with my co-founder, and we've explored the NFT space. One of our investors brought up, like, hey, I think if you guys create an LSO, like, this NFT project would be great. And we started talking about different benefits and realized that the only people that have done probably lifetime benefits is like American Airlines, people that I've heard about. And that was a big loss for American Airlines. And we realized the difference between American Airlines lifetime benefits versus us is that the benefits we're providing as a lifetime benefit to holders, we are still breaking even or generating a less profit margin when they come visit. So it's not like they are taking away revenue from us. Yes, the profit margin might be lower for their dining group, and that's the goal. But our goal is to also increase lifetime customer value and to have this internal marketing power. So a few things. We want the marketing power of the NFT holders. We want the internal feedback that's provided. We want the community building of the NFT holders to test that out, to see how having really passionate customers, how that will perform for a restaurant group. So those are three things that we want to get out of the NFT holders, the benefits the restaurant group gets out of it. Now, in exchange, we're providing significant access, discounts, and just also community for the NFT holders. So we see that it's a win-win situation. And the difference between us and a lot of the food NFT that you've talked about, and I think this is what I mentioned, is that they had the NFT project as the hype first, and then they build the physical locations and partnerships and things afterwards, like Fly Fish Club. And these are great concepts. And I'm excited to see how they will go. But for us, we want to create a product that's supplemental to just one part of our ecosystem of a restaurant group that people can utilize right away. And I think that's the biggest difference. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw like the garage led NFT projects with actually no physical business lead the way, and we're seeing the bigger companies step in. The big brands are finally starting to roll out what they've looking to implement last year, because it takes a long time to implement into your core business. So I've always thought that to your point, number one is having it be a win-win, and I see that as a win for like a project like yourself, because you get really intuitive data from your consumers that you would have never gotten before. Like how loyal is your customer really? I mean, you can tell that on a blockchain. You can't really tell that. You could. I mean, I guess if you have their email and you have their credit card, you can kind of bridge the two. But it's just much easier with an NFT, it would seem. So I imagine there might be different iterations of NFTs coming down the pipeline. But I just want to let you know that you are providing. When I heard you say you're gonna break even, that's great, because I'm like, man, I hope there's a lot of people out there that looks to take advantage, and people, I would hate to see people take advantage of this in a way that hurts the business. So, but you've been in business a lot longer than me, so I'm sure you guys have thought that through. And I've always thought to ask this or suggest to a company like this Web3 should be implemented as part of a budget, whether it be for marketing or whatnot. And did you guys segment that somewhere? Like, is NFTs its own division? Like, it has to you can't rob Peter to pay the piper. Like, is it coming from marketing? Is it coming from existing restaurant revenue? Like, how you guys, if you guys want to share, like, how are you guys positioning this or kind of
By the way, you can ask anything. Yeah, super transparent. So you can ask anything you want, by the way. So how we always have a marketing budget towards every restaurant project. We simply didn't have a membership program across the board for all of our Chubby Cattle holding or restaurants under the Chubby Cattle Hospitality Group. So we always had membership for local members, which means that we give discounts similar to what an NFT holder would get. They get discount pricing on certain items. They come during the weekdays, and we host certain events for these local members, and we do promotions. So we always had a platform for that, but we did not have a all-inclusive membership that's across the board. We don't have an NFT we don't have a membership that you can actually purchase and resell and hold for value, whatever the market determines that for that product, right? So we didn't have that, but we did have the benefit of having a membership, an annual membership that you actually pay for per year at any of our locations. So that's something that we had. And when you say like, how earlier you said how people might take advantage of the product, this is why we want to make sure that the benefits will always adjust as we add on new things. And it's definitely something that we're experimenting. We want to see the users' activity. Just to be completely frank, we've given out probably already around $50,000 within the past less than a month of discounts and savings across the board. And that's from complimentary tasting menus, drinks, and just the first day of launch, I think we gave out $12,000 of benefits just alone on the NFT launch party. So in terms of mint revenue versus what the tasting menu, like if in terms of the mint revenue and like the discounts, we're not expecting to just from the mint revenue to be able to give a lifetime of discounts, right? So there's like another NFT that's like the Boba, I think it's called Boba NFT, and what their mint price essentially covers their cost of goods sold for all of their life for like one boba a month or something, which costs like 50 cents, but the NFT sold for like, I don't know, $300 USD. So essentially they're covered for 15 years just from the mint revenue. But for us, but we've also seen NFT holders that have come in every day for 7 days. And you can see that on the Discord. They will message me as well. And they become a lot more active of going to, they're already a fan of our restaurant group or our restaurant concept. And now with NFT, they're going a lot more often. They're also bringing their friends. And we're finding ways to track how much marketing power or additional friends that they're bringing to their restaurant versus how much savings we're providing. That's why we want to create a lifetime saving tracker so people can see how much lifetime saving they're getting. And on top of that, one other thing, like, this is interesting. This is why we're also beta testing. Like, we had to make some changes to what's being offered. What are the restrictions? Can you get a tasting menu and all these other benefits as we roll out? So this is also to ensure the lifetime, the longevity, and that we're able to have a win-win situation for the restaurant group and also for the customers and NFT holders.
Wow, it's crazy to hear how much you've given out already in the first, I don't know, has it been like 3 weeks since you minted? Something like, it's not even a
Yeah,
month, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
I see that you guys have really ambitious plans, and I was wondering, was the launch of the NFT initially for expansion? But I don't think so. I think you already had those plans previously. I was reading some articles that you're looking to have a set amount of restaurants by within the 5 year time frame. I think the goal was 50, and then this year you're finishing up at 20. Was the NFT
Yeah.
It wasn't a capital raise for that. I think you already had that.
Yeah, capital. I mean, that would be. I mean, I think we raised 350,000 around to date. I think that's the number, and that would not fund a restaurant.
Right.
Even at a smaller Chubby Cattle, the restaurant development will cost around $2 million for a one location, 3,000 square feet, like the Chubby Cattle Monterey Park that we're having. So that would not, if we depended on NFT for a capital raise, that would be very insignificant. I think the value for us really, again, it's the recurring internal benefit for the NFT holders and for us to have this community, to have this win-win situation. That's how we will win. And that's how it will generate value. Like we want to have a referral program where we'll see like how many customers they brought to the restaurant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And yeah, right. So all things that we're working on. We're also having a future where we're potentially working with some crowdfunding platform, and we can introduce that to the NFT holders as well, where the holders will also become potential investors or debt holders of future local locations that they own. And dependent performance, they're incentivized to even bring more clients, not just to get benefits, but also to make a return if we start out the crowdfunding platform as well. And I think that's going to be a huge play for restaurant groups in general. Outside of NFT is this crowdfunding platform. And you can look into this company called Honeycomb Credit, and they've also already started this. And the difference, and we've done this for 10 years, where we have local impactful investors that invest into our restaurant. They can bring customers, vendor relationship, and so many different things just by having that. So when we started, I went to school in Philly at Penn, and we had, I think, 15, 20 student investors that bounded together to fund this restaurant group. And the power that came from that is that people will bring friends. And we've seen that also in Niku X. We just got into the Michelin Guide for Niku X in downtown LA.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
We had impactful investors. Thank you. We have impactful investors that will come in. When I say impactful, then they will be able to bring their relationships into the restaurant. And being in a restaurant retail business, it's so important to have the investors to actually give you feedback, to bring friends, and bring the community into your restaurant. And that's where also NFT becomes such an impactful part, is that now we open a restaurant like Chubby Cattle Monterey Park today, tomorrow, and Friday. I believe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're having this NFT private event where we can have NFT holders come eat for free, and they give us feedback. And that's something that's very powerful to have. 40 NFT holders already signed up, and people are on the wait list already to come in and try the food. And that's very powerful to have that internal team member that's not your employee and that's not your staff, but part of your customers, that a representation of your customers, to come in and give us feedback. So all this is all new. So we're excited to see the feedback and the stats that will come in.
Yeah, no, that's exciting to hear that you're already thinking of different implementations of NFTs, and also for the community, how they could be involved. Because truly, for NFTs, I've never felt a feeling of having ownership of part of companies that I patronize until NFTs, whether it be NBA Top Shot or Nike with the Clone X's or Fly Fish Club, or now I'm a Chubby Cattle holder. I bought it, David didn't give me one because I went there. My wife been eating there before. I feel like, even though I don't get, ownership shares, but I feel part of the company because of the NFT aspect of it. So it's exciting to hear that you have actual thought of making that a reality in the future. And sign me up, because I'm here in San Francisco and there is no Chubby Cattle. I bought an NFT, guys, for everyone listening to this podcast, and there's not even a Chubby Cattle restaurant within 300 miles.
We're coming.
So.
We'll be there. We'll absolutely be there soon. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
we've got a lot of requests to be an SF. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, don't compare. It don't make sense. But I'm up here, and I told my wife actually that if we win a black card, we will seriously consider moving to an area where there is a Chubby Cattle.
That's
Since
what.
there was
Oh
nothing.
my God, that's what a lot of people said. Yeah, they're gonna buy if once they will get the. Yeah, we'll have. I think that two people have won the black card so far,
I saw
and
that.
they're like, yeah, we're yeah. So it's been very cool to see all this unroll out from our vision to execution. And by the way, my most impressed. I'm very impressed by how much community, the aspect of community, that's something very new to me. I mean, we've been in restaurants for 10 years. I don't think there was a platform like Discord to see people talking about Chubby Cattle, talking about your food, as much time spent as by our NFT holders to give that much feedback and care so much. And I think that's going to be the strength and a huge pro and building our future locations and to maintain our existing locations to constantly have the feedback from these NFT holders. And that's something that really surprised me in a positive way, is that how people are very involved and very active and very communicative about the pros and cons of their experience, how much they loved it or what can be better with the NFT experience. Believe me, it's something that's new to us on the operations side. So it's something that will continue to work. And this is why we launched slowly and we want to build. If we actually sold like 2,000 of it in the first now, it would have been it would have been problematic, I think. So it's good that we're rolling out, adjusting, pivoting. We realize we need to add more benefits for all you can eat, while make sure that people don't use all their benefits at once, where the entire meal is free for all their guests. So we're creating this balancing act where you're getting a huge lifetime saving. We want you to get your, let's say you got the gold card, it's like 1,200. We want to make sure you get that saving in actual dollar saving, after you essentially dine with 30 people. So you can dine at one time with 30 people, or you can come multiple times with five people and 6 times. Essentially, after you dine a few times, you make back that initial purchase of the membership. So that's something that we're in consideration. And after that, you're just getting a lifetime of saving and benefits. And we want to ensure that happens. But at the same time, this is something I didn't realize, is that people can, obviously, because the lifetime membership aspect, even if you change really small restrictions and I guess it's human psychology, and that's something that we're learning through this, is that with the lifetime membership accesses to us, as long as you're getting this lifetime saving and consistent savings all the time, people don't see as far, and people don't like things taken away from them, even if it's small changes or nerfs, restrictions that are placed that you can't have this and this benefit together. People get very upset by it, right? So I think this is something, the concept is so new, people don't realize how much saving they will have as we grow out to the restaurant, as we get more locations. And people don't see the time aspect of it. They want it now, and they want to just see it in one. The few dollars matter in the one visit. But we're trying to emphasize that as that's why we're building the dashboard for lifetime saving, is that you will see that your saving will be far beyond and that's our goal, is for you to come and redeem the benefits with your friends at let's say net 10% off on your meal, or 15%, 20% off on your meal. But you're getting this consistency, and now we have this brand loyalty, and it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people in the NFT world just, want everything for free, not just from Chubby Cattle. Anyone that changes anything different from their expectations, if it's not making them money or getting stuff for free, NFT people are unhappy, at least initially. We're seeing that change a little bit now. But one thing I appreciate about, Chubby Cattle, more specifically you, David, was another point for me purchasing NFT was that you're in there all the time. I'm like, this guy's like a CEO of a company. He's running 10 restaurants. I'm like, I've been into a lot of NFT projects and a lot of Discords, and trust me, it drives me crazy. I have like 50 Discords open, but you are in there. You are talking to people. I'm not sure how long that's gonna last. Hopefully not forever, because you got better things to do. But you're talking to people and answering questions. Like, I have not seen that much. So I just want to let you know that we as a community appreciate that. Although I have been a short time in this community, meaning like I've just discovered Chubby Cattle this last year when I got married. And for those who want more benefits, listen, I don't have a Chubby Cattle here and I bought one. Okay. So everyone pump the brakes. And then another, just a comment on the black card. That was something that there's only 2 of them, like you said. And in the NFT world, there's a lot of gamification, meaning, a lot of people, I was thinking of this. I was like, I could just buy a gold card, which is the middle tier, and then just sell it and just keep on buying it until I get a black card. That's the way that some people do it, right? And then just for fun, I wanted to comment this for your community and potentially for other people listening, is that they can create a black card. You know, essentially you can purchase what 365 days divided by 2. That's how many gold cards you need. And that's only if you choose to eat there every day, which is not going to happen, right? So my projected valuation for a black card is around, I think around $50,000. And I'm not sure if there's a lot of speculation, but let me know if I'm wrong or right here. Of course, the value far exceeds that, but I'm just thinking in terms of like, okay, no one's really going to eat there every single day, right? And if you bought, if you have 3 gold tier NFTs that you could use a week, that's probably enough, which equates to between $50,000 to $100,000. Granted that I did all these calculations when the gold tier was $1,000. I clicked over the next few days, it was $1,250. So I'm like, oh wow. So, and I think you guys had goals of launching it at $2,500 one day, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, so I think so talking about the black card, we're actually going to auction out a black card to see what the market price is once we reach the 500 mark. I think probably by the end of the weekend is when we'll start this auction bidding process for a black card. This way it allows people, because people have been asking, hey, how do I just purchase one? And it's the best way to see what the market price is. For us, I think in my perspective, in order to get the 20% off on your meal at all of our locations, whether it's a Niku X Michelin restaurant or a Chubby Cattle you can eat, I think it's quite significant. And it's not just 20% for yourself, it's 20% for your entire dining group. So if you're talking about bringing in 10 people every day, the value you're getting from that, not even every day, just let's say you bring 10 people once a month for the next 20 years, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of savings. So, I mean, there's this, if you do a discounted cash flow on usage and all that, I think the value is around there, depending on how many locations we have. Obviously, the more, if we become as relevant, as prevalent as Chipotle or Sweet Greens, then I think the value will continue to go up. So that's where I also come in, where we did pricing differently for minting price at different stages as we get out to more locations. And future, we add on different things onto the benefits to the NFT. I think we will start to price the value a little bit higher and higher until when we sell out the 8,880 of them.
Yeah, I have no doubt that you guys will do that. I mentioned to one of my private groups that this will take time because word of mouth is going to spread. This is not a hype launch, it's an actual business. And the utility that you bring is like any other. So I, for one, love these experiences, one that you're throwing, and I wish I could be there for the launch of your new restaurant. And that would be great if you guys did that for every restaurant. I mean, well, I would have to fly everywhere, but
we will. Okay. I think that's in the line for every new location we opening. We want to invite the NFT holders and provide a comp tasting, drinks and stuff, different experiences. And we have also a lot of different parties at all of our locations for New Year's Eve, for Valentine's Day. So we will also allow the NFT holders to have first access, priority access to that as well. We'll announce it before we're public to the rest of the customer group. So things like that, we do want to continue to have. And this is where we're like, for example, this Chubby Cattle Monterey Park benefit, that's already just basically we added another comp tasting menu into the annual tasting menu for NFT holders. So things like this will be continually like added benefits on top of your existing list of benefits that's already for the NFT.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm sure we could talk forever about the benefits and what will come. My wife, she is a not expat. She probably is an expat, like a fanatic, but she loves hot pot. Is the Asian concept something that's going to just be the main brand that you're going to be focused on? Is just Asian concept foods like expat, Nico, Wagyu, Mikaya, or is there other things that in the works that you can kind of leak to us?
Yeah, I think in the near term, it's a lot of contemporary Asian concepts. And the goal of ours, like our team, is 10 years ago, outside of the NFT, in the restaurant space, was always to elevate the dining experience for the Asian cuisine. And we want to be able to bridge the gap that we have. 10 years ago, even now, Chinese food has always been, or Asian food was always the cheapest. Outside of Japanese food, it was always the cheapest food. And that tells a lot about our culture. You can tell by the pricing of the food and people's expectation of food, right? French dining is Michelin. Italian food can be Michelin. Spanish food can be tip. And then you have Asian food that's, it's $9. It's fast food. It's Panda Express. And Panda Express essentially elevated the traditional takeout, Chinese takeout. And what we are seeing is that we want to elevate the entire Asian cuisine, contemporary Asian cuisine, and bring people closer together through our food. That's always been the mission. When we started, nobody knew what hot pot was. When we went to the landlord, and it's non-Asian landlord, we're like, hey, we want to open a hot pot restaurant in Chubby Cattle in Vegas. They're like, yeah, I don't know about that. You have to pay down a huge down deposit for our space because we don't know. And we were young at the time, and we're like 20. So it's like, you guys are young kids and you want to bring this hot pot concept, and the landlord doesn't even know what that is, to now landlords are investing in us to bring concept to essentially say, hey, here's a check, come into our restaurant space because we think you'll bring a lot of traffic. So it's a huge transition, and that's always been the goal of us, is to elevate the dining experience, and that's why we do what we do.
Awesome. You do have was it a sister brand? Do you have I know that Restaurants One, did you have a dessert brand as well?
Yeah, so we had a dessert brand. We're renovating the dessert brand into a Mikia for Las Vegas. Okay. So the reason why the dessert brand it was in order to have the pastry chef and shipped, it wasn't very easy to duplicate because it was very labor intensive, and in order to have that to ship to all of our locations was a challenge. And was different from our core business concept. So we made an adjustment to add it to have a separate location. And we're still working with various dessert vendors that work with all of our locations. And we left the expertise for that. But I think the core concepts as we build out will be Chubby Cattle and Mikia, Niku X, Swaggy House, and so forth. But we want to bring obviously to a lot more cities. And we're not in a lot of the cities like SF, New York, Miami, Seattle, and the rest of the country. We want to have the contemporary Asian cuisine to be available for the entire United States. We're talking about university cities, with second tier, third tier cities that don't have hot pot, outside some local hot pot spots that's made for the Asian demographics only. And there are a lot of those out there that's just small mom and pop shop. That's their entire customer base is predominantly Asian. For us, we want to bridge that gap and have everyone to be able to experience it just like they have sushi, like the way that we've done with sushi. Yeah.
That's amazing. This is an Asian revolution I could get behind. Where do I sign up? Sounds really exciting.
I mean, I think we're seeing a lot of like in like Hollywood, right? We're getting more representation, and that comes with like from entertainment and food and in general music, culture, like K-pop, like all this stuff is how people will start to respect a culture. When people understand each other and can try their food. Until then, you'll become your stranger. And people are scared of foreigners. People are scared of strangers. But once people are eating everybody's, if just like we're eating at steakhouses or we're eating at Italian pizza places, we become closer to their culture. And we realize we're not so different after all. And there's nothing to be afraid of. And we're all humans. We just have different food, which is all awesome food. And we have different tastes of music and different types of music, and we should just learn to love. And that's what I love to see, is that people trying out hot pot barbecue the first time coming to a restaurant and being wowed at what this whole experience is and how come they've never had in their life. And that's like like this past weekend we shot a show for NBC, and that was like the highlight of someone trying hot pot at X-Pot for the first time. And the joy of seeing that has always been a driver of why I work so hard doing all of this.
Well, definitely you guys are, having strong mission and vision. And if I was an employee working with you guys, I would be super excited that there is that direction and there's like a goal, what we do. And there's like a story of what we're trying to accomplish. So congrats on the show, the Michelin star or the Michelin, nod. I'm sure there's a lot more in the way you guys sounds like you're just getting started, and I'm excited to be a part of that journey in one small way or another, whether it be a holder or in future, I don't know, looking at other things. But I can talk forever, David, but I know you're super busy. I would love to talk about how you got started in your shop, the first shop, like you said, of all the trials and tribulations. But I think we can invite you on another time as NFTs progress and Web3 progress, as you get more data inputs from the community and see, Chubby Cattle NFT roll out. We'd love to have you back, and get an update. It would be super cool to chat some more.
Yeah, would love to be on, Joe. That'll be great.
Awesome. So I'll put all the links down below for, Chubby Cattle. The mint's still going on right now. And I'll definitely make sure that people have the right information to get in touch with you.
Thank you, Joe. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and I hope to see you soon at one of our locations and connect in person. And to everyone else that's watching, thank you for tuning in. And join the Discord so you can see what the community is all about. And I'm super impressed again by the Discord community, and I'm excited to see where we'll go as well. I think this is a revolution for the restaurant space in general, and a revolution for the NFT space, and a revolution for the Asian culture to be represented properly in the world. And that's something. So I'm excited for all those things, and I can't wait for the journey ahead for all of us.